Anin gunkiki dijna kaz keteganzibi dunjaba Anishinaabe Nadao Jijek na Dodem. Anin, my name is Paul Sayers. I am from the Garden River First Nation, otherwise known as Keteganzibi. I'm from the Crane clan, and I am a proud direct descendant of Chief Shingwauk. Shingwauk or Shingwauk was a warrior, a war chief, a visionary, a champion for education, an early advocate for intercultural learning and sharing, and the chief who was instrumental in the establishment of the Garden River First Nation, otherwise known as Keteganzibi, and he was also a key signatory to the 1850 Robinson-Huron Treaty. Chief Shingwauk was born in 1773 and died in 1854. Shingwauk had a substantial role in the War of 1812, including several other battles, as a warrior and war chief, and led several of his allies to fight alongside the British during the war. Without his alliance, Canada would not exist as we know it today. He received several medals for his wartime service, which also included deserving chief status, which was granted to chiefs in British North America who had served the Crown during the War of 1812. This status resulted in preferred treatment by the Crown and superior presence from the government during negotiations. In 1831, Shingwauk, while fasting, had a vision of a Kanemagi Gamig, otherwise known as a teaching wigwam, concerned for the survival and well-being of his people, the Anishinaabe Nation, but equally conscious of the potential benefit of cross-cultural sharing and learning. Shingwauk developed a strategic plan and way forward for his people. The Shingwauk Kanemagi Gamig Teaching Lodge called for the creation of a lodge where his people and the settlers could learn together. It was also a space where his people could receive an education while retaining their traditions and culture within an education system based on partnership and mutual benefit. Shingwauk's vision is also important today because it played a crucial role in the development of the special mission of Algoma University, where in part it aims to cultivate cross-cultural learning between Anishinaabe communities and other communities. Throughout his life, Shingwauk strongly advocated for education as a way to help Anishinaabe people preserve their language and culture. In 1832, he snowshoed all the way from Sault Ste. Marie to York to ask Governor John Colborne to promote his vision of the Kanemagi Gamig. When Chief Shingwauk died in 1854, the fulfillment of his vision fell on his sons, Augustine Shingwauk and Bugwajinani, and the Anglican Church. In 1873, the teaching wigwam became a reality with a school, the Shingwauk Industrial Home, constructed in Garden River. However, because of the Anglican Church and the assimilation policies of the Government of Canada, the operations and purpose of this iteration of the Kanemagi Gamig were not true to Chief Shingwauk's vision. Rather, the school became part of the Canadian residential school system instead of what he originally advocated for. Today, descendants of Shingwauk, the Ojibwe, Anishinaabe, and Indigenous communities, including their allies, Shingwauk Kanemagi Gamig and Algoma University, actively work to reclaim the original vision of Chief Shingwauk, which emphasizes culture-based, Anishinaabe-centered learning and sharing.